Hello everyone, this is a video I'm going to do about Brit Noir, specifically 2 or 3 films that I think are kindly unjustly forgotten from the 70s. The 2 big ones obviously, and the 2 absolute classic films are Get Carter, which is just grim, great soundtrack, great acting, great story, heartbreaking revelation, and changes the end of the book. A book that I've been looking for years with the film cover, and it's really hard to get hold of. Or well, it's expensive now to get hold of. Ted Lewis has recently been republished as well. All his other novels. I think he wrote another 3 Carter novels. I've got 2 of them. But yeah, I would like to get hold of the full collection, and as I say, especially the movie tie-in edition of Get Carter with the film cover. This is the new BFI 4K release, which is glorious. Great picture, great extras, poster, booklet with some really good essays in actually. And it's got a new commentary track by Kim Newman and Barry Forshaw, who wrote a good book on British noir cinema. But yeah, it's a really great package, and it's a film I've bought on VHS, I think DVD twice, and I've already got a Blu-ray, the bog standard Blu-ray, which Warner Brothers apparently made a screw up and done a dub on the first release that redubbed all the Geordie voices, and I'm glad I didn't accidentally buy that one, but that was withdrawn apparently. The other great one filmed in 78, I want to say, but not released till 80 because Handmade Films picked it up, is this superb Long Good Friday with one of my favourite soundtracks by Francis Monkman, and I'm going to say one of the best pieces of screen acting ever in the final scene by Bob Hoskins, where he's sat in the back of the cab and realises what's going on, doesn't say a word, but he goes through a million emotions in his face. You can read his thoughts basically. Just a superb piece of screen acting, and as I say, I think it's one of the best moments of screen acting that's ever been put on film. But like, I suppose Brit Noir goes back to the earliest days, 40s, 50s especially, like films like Aliens, It Always Rains on a Sunday, about an escaped convict. It goes back to his ex-girlfriend's flat in, is it Golders Green? But it's a great portrait of working class life immediately after World War II. So you actually see the location shots of that area of London in 1946. You get a good portrait of, you know, low-level Jewish criminals, low-level hucksters, and a woman who's tried to move on from her past, but when this man turns up, it kind of brings the past up. And it's Googie Withers, who married the leading man, what's he called? Robert Craig? No, I can't remember, but anyway, and the leading man, who's the escaped convict, actually got married during this, well, just after this film. But as I say, filmed in 46, so you get to see that immediate post-war London, which is great location stuff. So I would say like that would be recommended, and Brighton Rock definitely, Graham Greene, with a young and violently threatening Richard Attenborough in the lead role as Pinky. But 3 other films I want to talk about, and I think they are unjustly forgotten in the Brit Noir genre of, and they're all 70s, I think. Yeah, 1970, 1972 and 1977, the year I was born. But the first one is Jack Gould's The Reckoning on this indicator disc. You can't go wrong with the indicator, great extras on it. But it's one of Nicol Williamson's few film performances. He was pretty choosy about what he acted in, and he plays a pretty high up businessman who is called back to his working class Liverpool roots. He's Irish, immigrant family in Liverpool, and he's kind of escaped that by becoming a top man in London for a business. And it kind of predates Get Carter with the story, because his dad is basically kicked in by a load of teddy boys in a working men's club in Liverpool, and he wants revenge. Basically, it's not as in your face angry as Get Carter. It's not as, you know, a straight path of revenge. It's a man dealing with his past, his working class roots. Now he's become something else. Man dealing with being an Irish immigrant as well. As I say, Nicola Williamson, mostly renowned for stage stuff. He was a priest in the studio cut of Exorcist 3, but William Peter Blatty actually wanted him for the lead role in The Ninth Configuration, which went to Stacey Keach eventually. More of which later. But yeah, really good, underrated, and I say predates Get Carter in its kind of storyline, but should be seen more. And the next one, I just adore, because it's absolutely one of the best performances Oliver Reed ever gave, and this is the Spanish disc, and here it's called, is it La Colada? Which, I mean, the UK title, the American title is Sitting Target. That's what it's called, and this is based on the novel Cage Until Tame by Lawrence Saunders, a novel I'm trying to get hold of, and the prices are ridiculous on eBay, and I think mostly I can get it from America for some strange reason, because obviously it must have been a pretty popular like paperback or hardback at one time in the UK, but yeah, it doesn't really come up much. But in this, Oliver Reed is in prison at the start of the film, and then discovers his wife's pregnant, and he's thinking, well, how did that happen? She's pregnant and I'm in here. So he plans to break out to basically go and kill his wife, because he's not having it. He's not having that some other man's been with. So him and his mate, played by the great Ian McShane, also agent of Deadwood, mostly know him in the UK for Lovejoy, guilty pleasure, got to say. But yeah, so he breaks out of prison and just goes on he's got a one-track mind. He's going to kill his wife, but obviously he's been involved with gangs and criminals in London, so he's got a past to go through. The police are on his case, obviously, because he's escaped from prison. Well, him and Ian McShane. And Edward Woodward plays the detective who was after him. So it's got an absolutely stacked cast. Yeah, Oliver Reed, Jill St. John plays his wife. Ian McShane, Edward Woodward, Frank Finlay, Freddie Jones. I mean, that cast is just spot on to begin with. Great soundtrack by Stanley Myers, which I have on CD somewhere in storage or in a box in my spare room. Directed by Douglas Hickox, who directed one of my favourite Vincent Price films, Theatre of Blood, 1972. And I have a quad poster. But I want to say about Reed's performance. I mean, the book was called Cage Until Tame, and Oliver Reed really is just a ball of fury in that film. Great action scenes as well. And the gun he uses ended up being Han Solo's gun. Bit of trivia. But yeah, this is the quad poster I've got for it, and I think it's on a double bill with the gang who couldn't shoot straight. I won't fit all this in frame, but that's the Sitting Target poster there. It's from ABC, same as this. Yeah, I mean, that's really bad to fit in actually. But yeah, Sitting Target, and then the double bill is the gang who couldn't shoot straight, which is one of De Niro's early performances, I think. But yeah, I would love just a Sitting Target poster, but I think this is nicer actually, because it's a double bill, and somebody's written on it in crayon from the time X. That's the certificate, so adults only. But yeah, just absolutely. Warner Archives put this out on DVD. Still hasn't had a Blu-ray release. They put it out obviously with the Sitting Target title. As I say, this Spanish release is basically a pirate of the Warner Archives release. Spanish tend to do that a lot, just release bootlegs, but they're basically rips of proper discs. Needs a Blu-ray release, but Indicator or anybody, I mean, it's Warner's, so basically you're screwed these days, because I think it's a Discovery on Warner's now, or in partnership with them. For once it isn't Disney that own them, as they own everything else. Yeah, but the last one is, I think it's a quirky film, kind of, because it's got Stacey Keach playing a Cockney, and he attempts the accent, and it's not perfect, but it's a great performance nevertheless, because he's an absolutely chronic alcoholic, isn't he? An ex-cop, but he's a chronic alcoholic, and the first scenes in it are him stumbling around the underground, and he falls down some stairs, really beats himself up. It's gritty and it's grimy, the opening scenes even, but the whole film is. And ends up in hospital detoxing, and as soon as he gets out of hospital, his best friend picks him up, takes him to the pub, and he says, "I'll have a sherry," because that's like a weaker drink than he's used. It's not, you know, it's not like a bottle of scotch like he has been drinking. It's to like start all over again, and it's just. But yeah, it's The Squeeze, 1977, directed by Michael Apted. I want to say it was his first feature film. Obviously he was known in the early mid 60s for the 7 Up documentaries that went on for decades, following the same kids as they grew up. And then he went on to direct like 1984, the adaptation of 1984 that was actually filmed on the dates in 1984. But David Hemmings, Jim Naboth, ex-alcoholic cop, is I say it's a great performance. The accent isn't great, but I forgive that. But his best mate in this film, who picks him up from the detox centre, is played by, in his only screen acting role, in his only acting role full stop, by the comedian Freddie Starr. So a lot of UK people will know Freddie Starr from terrible comedy of its time, very of its time. Yeah, but it's his only acting role, and he's fantastic in it. His only serious acting role, and he's great in it. The soundtrack also features, because I'm a big prog fan, parts of John Anderson of Yes's first solo album, Elias of Sunilo. It's got parts of that on the soundtrack, based on a book called Whose Little Girl Is This by, I've got a note here, James Tucker, which I've got. This is the movie tie-in book. There's Freddie Starr there as his best mate, and that's Stacey Keach as Jim Naboth. But again, this has got a great cast. So yeah, Jim Naboth, Stacey Keach is an ex-alcohol, well, he's an alcoholic ex-policeman whose ex-wife has married a successful businessman, and she's kidnapped along with her child, and her new husband, who's played by Edward Fox, comes to Jim Naboth, Stacey Keach, for help, to say, look, I need, and he's like, well, why, just pay the ransom, you can afford it. But it becomes a whole twisted, tangled scheme of brilliant evil, basically. And David Hemmings and Stephen Boyd, the Irish actor in his last film role, but David Hemmings, I'd watch anything with him, or we'll watch any film. They play the bad guys, and boy are they bad. There's a really uncomfortable scene where Hemmings makes Carol White, who plays the ex-wife, the wife of Edward Fox, but the ex-wife of Stacey Keach, makes her do a striptease, and it's so uncomfortable to watch, even to this day. I mean, it must have been disturbing in its day, but these days, especially when you look back at some of the, you know, with a bit of history on board, it's, yeah, it's really uncomfortable. But it's a fantastic film that nobody really talks about. Same with Sitting Target, nobody really talks about this. The two absolutely brilliant crime films that should be mentioned in the same breath as Get Carter and Long Good Friday for me. Two grim, down, dirty British crime films. And as I say, Satan Target's got some excellent action. The action scenes are directed brilliantly. There's like a, not even a chase, but Reed's getting towards his goal at the end of Satan Target, going to kill his wife. And the police are there and they're hidden behind like washing lines. So they're hidden behind like sheets and stuff, and they're waiting for him coming. And he comes on a motorbike riding right through, and it's just greatly directed. But I've also got a poster of, and as I say, it's going to be hard to fit in again, but I will, the Squeeze. And this is the American one sheet. I love a UK quad. They're quite pricey. And even, there we go. Yeah, so that's the American one sheet of the Squeeze. Obviously depicting the heist, well, the robbery at the end. And apparently, fun fact, Steve Jones of the Sex Pistols appears in the background of that heist at the end of the Squeeze. If you look out, apparently he's got, well, if you look out, you'll see him. He's got a Hawaiian shirt on in the background while the robbery's going on and stuff. But yeah, so 3 films I would really say deserve more respect. 3 British crime films. I think mostly, well, yeah, I mean, made with American money, obviously, in the 70s. That was the, most of the time they were. But you should really, really give you time to, I've got to say, The Squeeze is based on the novel The Harp That Once by Patrick Hall. Another novel I cannot get hold of, that just seems to be either nobody remembers or it never pops up on eBay. But definitely give that a go, because Williamson was a great actor. Satan Target, I will someday get hold of the novel Cage Until Tamed by Lawrence Saunders, because I need it, and it deserves more respect. All 3 do, they do, because I put them up there with Get Carton on Good Friday any day, and especially The Squeeze, because I say Cage's performance, although his accent isn't great, you feel his pain when he can't get hold of a drink. You know, he's like a chronic alcoholic, and you feel that pain when he's itching to get a drink, and he'll do most things for a drink. But yeah, so I just thought I'd bring them 3 films to your attention. So thanks everybody again, thanks for liking, subscribing, thanks for your comments, they've been really helpful. Onwards and upwards.